Long before history was written, before prophets walked the earth and kings ruled from thrones of stone and gold, there was Enlil. To the Sumerians, he was the Lord of the Command, the one who ruled with absolute authority, who governed not just earth, but the divine decrees that shaped its destiny. While Enki was the architect and teacher, Enlil was the enforcer, the executor of law, order, and dominion. This is Hidden Origins TV, and today, we unravel the suppressed legacy of Enlil, the god who tried to erase humanity. Enlil's name echoes through the earliest cuneiform tablets. He was the chief deity of Nippur, the ancient city said to house the Ekur, a temple complex that some believe functioned as both a power station and a divine command hub. But Enlil was more than a local god. He was the commander of the Anunnaki mission on Earth. Second only to Anu, the High King of Nibiru, Enlil wielded authority like a weapon. Where Enki came to Earth with the mindset of a geneticist, a visionary, a teacher, Enlil arrived with the posture of a general. His mission was not experimentation, but execution. He oversaw timelines, quotas, and discipline, and from the start, tension with Enki ran deep. Both were sons of Anu, but born of different mothers. Enki, though firstborn, was denied kingship because his mother was of lesser royal blood. Enlil, born of the queen, was granted the right to rule, and so began the ancient war of opposites. Enki, the god of water, fluidity, and wisdom, versus Enlil, the god of air, authority, and judgment. According to the Sumerian tablets, Enlil was the one who separated heaven from earth. He created space between the realms, enforcing boundaries, distinctions, hierarchies. His role was to maintain structure. But as humanity entered the picture, that structure turned into something else: control. When the Anunnaki rebelled, when the Igigi refused to labor any longer in the mines, it was Enlil who wanted to punish. Enki instead proposed a solution: create a hybrid worker. Enlil agreed, reluctantly. But as these new beings began to thrive, to evolve, to exhibit sparks of awareness, Enlil became increasingly uneasy. He saw the hybrids not as a marvel, but a threat. To Enlil, humanity was a contamination of the divine order, a glitch in the chain of command, a species born of compromise. The Sumerian tablets reveal that Enlil took extreme measures to control humanity. He imposed laws, he issued decrees, he sought to limit their understanding and keep them subservient. Where Enki shared the Me tablets, the sacred codes of creation, Enlil sought to lock them away. One of the most defining moments in Enlil's story is the deluge. According to the Atrahasis epic, humanity had grown numerous and loud. Their clamor disturbed the sleep of the gods. Enlil, enraged, demanded their annihilation. He convened a council and declared a silent decree: let the humans perish by flood. He forbade the other gods from intervening. He imposed a vow of secrecy. But Enki broke the oath. He whispered to a faithful human, Ziusudra, later known as Noah, instructing him to build a life-saving vessel. Enki defied divine law to save not just a man, but the knowledge encoded within him. Enlil's flood destroyed civilizations. It washed away temples, cities, and generations. And yet, when he discovered that some humans had survived, he was furious. It was only after the intervention of other Anunnaki, and perhaps Anu himself, that Enlil relented. He agreed to let humanity persist, but only under strict dominion. Thus began the re-establishment of kingship, a system not of liberation, but of divine control. Enlil handed kingship to selected bloodlines, ensuring that only those loyal to his rule could wield authority. Many ancient empires, Sumer, Akkad, Assyria, were structured under this system. Kings claimed descent from Enlil's line. They built ziggurats in his honor. They waged war in his name. And they preserved a narrative that obedience to the gods, especially to Enlil, was the only path to survival. But there was always resistance. The followers of Enki formed underground knowledge schools. They preserved the serpent wisdom, the codes of sacred geometry, harmonic resonance, and DNA awakening. They taught that the gods were not to be worshipped blindly, but understood. This ideological war between control and consciousness continued for millennia. Enlil's influence can be traced through religious evolution. In the Hebrew tradition, he mirrors Yahweh, the stern, punishing God who floods the earth, issues strict laws, and tests loyalty. In contrast, the serpent in Eden, the bringer of knowledge, aligns more with Enki. Many scholars have pointed out this dichotomy. What if the biblical story was not a tale of man's fall, but a retelling of a cosmic conflict between two factions of gods, one giving knowledge, one forbidding it, one wanting evolution, the other submission? In the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, divine beings who descend to earth and teach forbidden knowledge, are punished by a higher celestial authority. The parallels are striking. Enki's teachings are often framed as rebellion, Enlil's decrees as divine law. But who truly served humanity? This question lingers in every myth, every ruin, every mystery school. Even after the flood, Enlil continued to exert control. According to later tablets, it was he who scattered humanity at the Tower of Babel. As the Sumerians sought to build a gateway to the heavens, possibly a real stargate or dimensional bridge, Enlil again intervened. He confused their tongues and forced them into cultural division. He shattered their unity, fearing what they might achieve together. This isn't just mythology. The echoes of Enlil's agenda persist today. Global division, suppression of knowledge, a deep fear of collective awakening. Could it be that the war Enlil waged is still ongoing? Not with floods or fire, but with censorship, indoctrination, and control of information. Some believe that the legacy of Enlil survives in elite institutions, those that promote hierarchy, obedience, and control over truth. Others say his influence wanes, that the age of hidden rulers is ending. But if we don't understand Enlil's role, we miss the deeper message of our origin. He was not evil. He was order incarnate. He believed in discipline, in protocol, in the sanctity of divine command. But his greatest flaw was his inability to adapt, to see that evolution is not chaos, it's progress, and that humanity, born of stars and soil, was meant to rise, not kneel. In the myths, Enlil eventually fades. His temples fall, his laws are rewritten, his name becomes less known. But the questions remain. How much of our world was shaped by his hand? How many decisions about governance, religion, and history echo his ideology? And what will we choose going forward? To obey the old commands, or to awaken the spark Enki left within us? This is not just ancient history, it is the blueprint of civilization. This is Hidden Origins TV, and today we decoded the forbidden legacy of Enlil, the enforcer who tried to erase us. Subscribe and share, because in the next episode, we reveal the mysteries of Ninhursag, the mother of DNA, and the divine womb from which humanity was born. Stay tuned.